Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Jimmy. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm here with the Fuji X-T2. Let me know down below which Fuji X camera you've been using these days. My goal today is to get you guys to understand a little bit more about the autofocusing on your camera. Yes, we all know the camera autofocuses, but there are different types, and there are different modes that branch off from those types. That is so confusing. It took me forever to figure out what the menu was even getting at. So I hope I can break things down for you in a way that you can understand which tool you can use for whichever situation you may find yourself in on your next shoot. Please grab your camera and follow along. Let's go. There is my friend the Red Ninja over there. I'll show you guys. He's being very helpful with today's lesson. Thank you very much for your patience, good sir. Before we begin, take a look at my settings. They don't mean a whole lot because we're talking about autofocusing today. But just in case, my ISO is on automatic, my time value is on automatic, my exposure compensation is at 0, and my aperture priority is set to something that allows a lot of light in my lens, so it's easier to take a shot. I'm at 2, so pick a similar value if you please. Move your camera to the front here, and you'll see that I have 3 little letters on this ticker here, S, C, and M. What does that mean? S stands for single AF, single autofocusing. C stands for continuous autofocusing. The M stands for manual. It's not autofocusing at all. So 2 of the 3 are autofocusing here. And that's really important to understand. When I leave it on M, that means I use my hands and my eyes and the focusing ring here to adjust it myself. I will turn my camera on here, look at my subject, and when I press autofocus, it does not grab anything. I use my focusing ring, grab it completely out of focus, or bring it into as much focus as I see fit, and then take that shot. That's manually focusing in a brief nutshell. Move it to the S for now. We're talking about single autofocusing. That's mainly what I use. What about you? It's when you have a little square there and it turns green when you autofocus and you take that shot. Easy enough. Now, it does go a little bit more deeper than that we have to choose from, but we'll go over that in a second. The C is for continuously autofocusing, right? It's continuously tracking something. So if I have a train that's going nearby or a dog that's running off in the distance, I can continuously track and take photos of that subject. I can track it or it can be tracked. Those might sound the same, but I'll show you the difference later. For now, let's move it to the S. By the way, which one do you think will eat up the most batteries? C or S? Continuously tracking or single AF? That's right. C, continuously tracking, will engage the motors inside the camera to continuously track a subject. It will eat up more batteries, so be aware of that, okay? All you gotta do is have more batteries. Put it on S for now, single AF. This is what you're gonna be most familiar with because you're gonna focus on something and take a shot. Press menu with my thumb here, right there, and go to AF, MF by using your left arrow. Go down and press the right arrow to enter this menu. Go to AF mode. You notice here there's a little square there. That stands for, I press the right arrow to go into this part here, single point. Single point autofocusing. Press menu OK. Go to focus area to further investigate what that means. You see here, I can adjust this to go anywhere I want. Sometimes a person can look great here, so I will place this autofocusing around there. If I will want it in the middle, I will do that. And then I can use my rear command dial to shrink it down to that size or make it a little bigger. The smaller the size, the harder it can be to track something or focus on something quickly. The bigger something is, the more of interest and contrast and colors can fit in it, and it focuses that much faster. Just be aware of that. Now, I can also focus on something, readjust. So if I want it in the upper left-hand corner, I take a shot like so, within reason. Okay, I can't, do that and expect it to be in the picture. You have to kind of like do that, and that will be in focus. So that's focusing and repositioning if you choose to do that. Press menu OK. Now go to AF mode again, press the right arrow, and we'll go to zone. Zone is like many single points. You see now there's like brackets there. Press the up arrow to go into focus area. Press menu OK. Now look at this. We're not on one single point anymore. We have this little box where there's lots of single points. Use your rear command dial to shrink down 3 times or 2 more times from big to medium to small zones. And here, if I choose, let's say, the medium zone, I can move this around with my cursors, press OK here, and then you see the brackets there. That's pretty cool, right? It's grabbing the ninja, the subject, in that zone. What if it's not in that zone? Well, it won't grab it. It's only focusing here. So it's a bit more general than a single point. That might be really helpful and useful to quickly grab something in focus. Here, the subject is not there, but it's probably grabbing maybe the table end right there. If I want it to be a little more generous in zone, I will press menu and go to focus area and press the right arrow, or menu OK, I'm sorry, and then press this here and go as big as I can. If I do this, I just cycle through zones. Half press the shutter button. Notice if I'm in that zone, the subject is always in focus. Pretty cool. Press menu OK and go down to AF mode. Press the right arrow, go to wide tracking. Now look at this here. Can you see that word focus up there? What we use to change it? Go to wide tracking, press the right arrow. Press menu OK. And this is grayed out. You cannot change the focus area of wide tracking. Half press the shutter button, I'll show you why. Because we went from single point to zone, now we're in wide, which is essentially the biggest zone you can have. It's the entire screen, right? So whatever's in the screen that it thinks is interesting, whatever it may be, it can be the reflection, it can be the edge of the table, it can be a few things taking it in focus, whatever the camera thinks. It's a game of chance at this point. And you notice I don't have anything competing of interest around here. I'm not in a very busy space. This is a very clean desktop. So if I was in a real life situation, this camera would now be focusing on a chair, on another person, a box of cereal, a pencil, whatever it may be. And it's going to grab multiple things at once. So some people might say this is totally unuseful. Some people might say it's really cool for street photography. As you're walking down the street, you can just randomly grab shots of things or people or animals and just kind of sift through what you have at home. Now, there's nothing to adjust here. It's just the biggest size. Press menu OK and press AF mode. Go into there and go to all. What does all mean? Well, go to focus area here. Go up and press menu OK. You see that where it's single point? Now, if I keep moving this rear command dial, we will cycle to the zones. We will cycle to wide and back down to single points. So now we don't have to just restrict ourselves to single point and cycle through single points. We don't have to restrict ourselves to zones and cycle through those. By choosing all, we can just go through them like this, and it's super easy. If I press menu OK, I recommend leaving it on all, and that way you can just cycle through all of them in any size and at any position we want to. And how do we do that without going to focus area? Well, we just press this joystick button right there. Just press it down, and now that's where we are. So a lot faster. Hopefully you guys are still with me. Let's go ahead and move this to C. You guys are going to see some very similar things, but it's taken up another level. Okay, so there is my subject. I will half press the shutter button. Notice we're on single point here, and I will move the camera towards it. I will move away. So the subject is constantly being tracked. I'm moving in a predictable, slow manner, and the camera is able to adjust it. If I was here on S, and I tried tracking this, I half press the shutter button, I focus on the ninja, and I move forward, it is now out of focus. Same thing if I moved or I changed the plane of focus, it would be out of focus. So I'm going to move it back to C here. And notice it's in focus. I move towards it, it's still in focus. It's tracking it. I'm tracking the ninja. Also, the ninja can move and is being tracked. If I hold it down and I move it off, it grabs it on again. It finds something to track. Let's see what happens if I put a friend here. I'm going to put a single point, continuously tracking, focusing point on him, and then I'll move it to this other guy. I did not do anything other than let the camera track what it thinks it should be tracked. So I think that is pretty neat. Now, let's go to menu, OK, and we go to AF mode. Let's pick zone. Just like before, we can now go to focus area and choose what zone we want. So this ninja is in the zone, is being tracked. Now, it is fun to see what the camera will do, but as you can see, it is hunting around. So don't have unrealistic expectations. Oh, the camera's not grabbing what I think it should grab. Yeah, how is it going to know that? It's using some sort of algorithm to see what is of interest to you, but only you would know that. So let's go ahead and turn the camera back on and go to menu and go to AF/MF again and go to AF mode. We were on the zone. If we go to wide tracking, this is really interesting. What happens? It's the entire screen. It's the biggest zone there is. So we can't adjust the size of the zone here because it's the widest one. Press the joystick here to adjust. We can't adjust the wide zone, but we can choose this, where we want to start the tracking from. So I'll track starting from over here. Notice that the brackets are here and there is a starting point. If I half press the shutter button here, it wants to start where I started, but then it will hunt around after that. So every time I let go and half press, it will start from there. And that helps it to track a little faster. And if I don't like that, I will press this joystick again right there, and I can move this more towards the center. Now remember, because this entire wide tracking is happening, if there's any competition in the field of view, it will take longer to hunt to guess what you want. So, there is a give and take here. Press menu OK and go to AF mode again. Press the right arrow and choose all. Press menu OK and go to focus area. Press menu OK. Now look here, you can use your rear command dial. Remember, when you pick single point before, you were restricted to the different sizes of single point. But now that we've chosen all, we can choose any one of these. And just by cycling through them, okay? The main purpose of this video is to show you guys that the Fuji X-T2 has great autofocusing capabilities. You can continuously track something, or you can use single AF, just focusing on one point and taking that shot. As you can see, they both have a lot of things in common. You can use your modes to go from single focusing to zones to wide tracking the entire screen. It's just picking the sizes, and you can adjust the position if you wanted to. The continuously tracking mode is more advanced. Also, it may take longer to continuously track something, but it's got its pluses and minuses. When in doubt, I would just say stick to leaving this on S here. Just focus on one thing and taking that shot. Just keep in mind, the larger the square, the faster it may get that shot, but you may miss what you want exactly in focus. So as always, if you can, take your time and try out different functions. I hope this helps you guys understand the different kinds of focusing there are and what modes there are for each one, which essentially is the sizes of the focusing. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.